Hello there and welcome back to some more Forza Motorsport 7 today. We are taking a quick look at the September update, which dropped a couple of days ago, bringing with it a new Spotlight car as usual, as well as a new game mode which promises to get better over time. It's not quite as big as the August update, but there's still some stuff to get excited about, and one thing you should be excited about is the Spotlight car, because it is the fantastic 1984 Nissan number 11 Skyline Turbo Super Silhouette. Fans of Gran Turismo 2 will remember this car very fondly indeed. Unfortunately, it does not come in blue like it did in Gran Turismo 2, but nevertheless, it is here. Of course, we did already have a Super Silhouette car in the game. It was another Nissan, in fact, the Nissan Bluebird, and statistically on the engine front it is exactly the same. 562 horsepower, 397 foot-pound torque. Weight is a little bit different, 2,315 pounds. The Bluebird weighs 2,200, and as a result the Bluebird is on 813 and this car is S799 front-engined rear-wheel drive, as you'd expect. Of course, the key difference is the Bluebird was DLC and this one is a free car. Also, this one probably will be a little bit more useful because the PI is sort of on the border between S and R. You can race this thing in S-Class, unlike the Bluebird, which you probably have to convert to drag tyres and all the rest of it to get to the point where it can run in that series. But it is in the GT Racing Reborn category. I don't quite know how far up the PI it can get in there, but I'd probably put money on the Bluebird being slightly better within that class. But nevertheless, I mean, I'd rather use the Skyline because just look at it, it's fantastic. I adore this thing. I think it looks absolutely stunning. It's superb. It really is an excellent car. So, the Super Silhouette is not the only thing that we got in the update, because we also got a new game mode. If we go into free play, you will now see a yellow little bar here called Experimental Drag Quick Setup. So, what this is, we will cancel that because I'm going to select a different car. What the sort of... I hate the free play options in this game. The experimental drag mode, which is interesting to say the least. Basically, what this is designed to be is a work in progress of getting the drag mode up to par. Of course, drag mode in previous Forzas basically works the same as Quick Race does in sort of the game. You know, it works the same as every other race does. You have starting, you just go when the game tells you to go, and that's the end of that. There's no real... I don't want to say there's no skill involved in it, but it's sort of very lackadaisical. There's not really a lot to it, particularly. Well, as in this new version of it, there is actually a little bit more involved. We will drive you, I guess. So, what you do is basically you click that yellow bar that you saw. Race setup, you can't really do a lot. The environment has to be the 2-car quarter-mile Dubai drag race. For some reason, don't get why you can't change that. You can change the driver tar difficulty, so sure. But there's not really a whole lot you can do other than select car, and the rest of it's sort of... Again, it's a work in progress. They're basically trying to see how people like this version of it, and then I'm assuming they'll proceed to add it to different tracks and so on and so forth. At least I assume that's the way they're going to work. I don't know for certain, but that seems logical to me. But you'll see the way this works. You do actually get a little introduction to it as well once the game loads up. So here we are at the Dubai circuit, and it should, unless I click don't show, there we go. So basically what you get is you can free rev, so the perfect drag racing start is a balance between power and friction. If your engine RPM is too high, you risk spinning your tyres and getting a slow jump off the start line. Experimenting with holding your throttle at different points in the RPM range to maximise power while minimising wheel spin. Getting a good launch, which before you could kind of do, but again you'd sort of go when the game says go. You also, this is a new one, you get the drag tree, which is basically where it tells you where to start. And that also leads on to the next factor, which is disqualification. So you now actually control when you launch. It's more about reaction times now, which is good, as it's sort of Need for Speed Pro Street-esque. So we're racing against this Skyline here. So you can see the drag tree pop up at the bottom, keep hold of the brake, and go on green. That's pretty much the way you do it. Not massively complicated, but still a big improvement over the old version. There we go. and leave the skyline in the dust. Excellent. So after you do that, you get this nice little breakdown where you get to see your reaction time, your 60-foot time, your trap speed. Yeah, which is pretty excellent. And if you click onto that, you also get the option of quick racing again, which is nice. So it'll literally just restart the race straight up. We even changed slides, apparently, which is pretty cool. So let's try this again, try and get a better reaction this time. Oh, look at that. That was spot on. Yeah, the AI, they're okay at this. I mean, the R33 isn't a particularly great car for this because the R33 is more of a handling car. This BMW is quicker, to say the least. But yeah, it's pretty fun. My reaction time, 0.1 there, which isn't too bad. Of course, people will be better than me. I'm terrible at reacting to stuff. But yeah, it's pretty good. Can't really complain too much. It's a nice... It's nice to see the drag finally being reworked, because that is one thing. The drag racing mode really did need reworking. Of course, we saw drift mode reworked in the August update. We saw time attack come back, and now the drag races are getting some love. So, you know, it really is. It's a change from the usual. You know, usually in Forza, it's a case of the racing got all the attention, really. Like, the racing was it, or just standard track racing. But now, I mean, it did have the options for drift mode and stuff, but it wasn't massively fleshed out. But now, it is. It's a really good feature. It's nice to see them giving some extra attention to some of the more popular but more neglected modes in the game. We'll just have a quick look at the skyline while I talk about another new feature, which is the meetup feature. I'm not going to demonstrate that for you here today. It's not really a thing for me, it's more a thing for the multiplayer guys. Basically, similar to, I guess, how Horizon works in free roam, you can now free run a track, much like you can in Gran Turismo. I believe you can free run tracks as well. You literally just select the track and people can pop in, pop out, change cars on the fly. I'm not sure if you can upgrade on the fly, but yeah, you can sort of just have fun and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. I haven't had a chance to play with it myself. I'm assuming it'll be refined and so on and so forth. But it seems pretty fun, certainly. It seems like it's a interesting feature. It's a feature people have been asking for a while. Again, not really for me, because I don't play multiplayer much at all. But yeah, it's certainly a nice little feature. So that is the September update in a nutshell. Last time there was a couple of quick fixes which I mentioned. This time around I don't notice anything personally, and the patch notes is mostly just bug fixes, stuff like fixing frame rate in the buy car screen. Of course, the car selection screen did get improved vastly in August, but it's still a little bit weird, as you sort of saw when we were setting up the drag race. Yeah, we're still doing pretty well, chucking on. Of course, unfortunately, Skyline come back to the circuit again. That's pretty neat. Yeah, unfortunately no car pack this month. Still waiting on the drift pack, which I hope comes sooner rather than later. And we've still got one more car pack to come via the car pass, which Turn 10 have said that they're currently working on a licensing issue with that pack. Don't quite know what that means. Hopefully no Mitsubishis. But once they get that kink worked out, that car pack should be coming next month. So that's good. Stuff to look forward to. Of course, Forza Motorsport 7 is being more supported than pretty much any other motorsport title in history. I mean, at this point, most of the developers would probably have run out. I think the most Forza Motorsport 4 got at this point was a car pack, and the last few Forzas, I don't think even got that. But they're committed to this game, which is nice to see, because I'm not much of a Horizon person, so Motorsport 7 is going to be my main game for the next couple of years, so it's nice to see them still supporting it. Of course, that experimental drag racing mode is going to be worked on, and yeah, it should be fun to see what that turns into in the future. I will keep you updated as always, although it might be a couple of days late because I'm a busy person, I guess. I'm also a lazy person, which doesn't help. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.